Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited to have all of you here today. Whether you're joining us for the first time, or you've been with us for a while, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here. Today, we'll be embarking on a journey together, a journey filled with inspiration, imagination, and a little bit of magic. No matter where you are in life, I believe that stories have the power to connect us, teach us, and spark new dreams. So, sit back, relax, and let your mind wander as we dive into a world of wonder and possibility. I'm truly thrilled to share this time with you, and I hope you leave here feeling uplifted and inspired. Let's get started. The journey of 1,000 miles. In a small village nestled between towering mountains and dense forests, lived a young man named Jack. From a young age, Jack had big dreams. While other children were content with playing in the fields or helping their families with daily chores, Jack spent his time looking at the sky, imagining what lay beyond the distant mountains that seemed to hem in his entire world. He often thought about the cities he had only heard about in passing from travelers, places bustling with life, filled with opportunities, and where dreams could come true. But despite his grand dreams, he felt trapped. The mountains that surrounded his village felt like barriers, insurmountable obstacles that separated him from the life he yearned for. Jack's family was humble. His father was a farmer, and his mother a seamstress. They worked hard every day just to make ends meet, but they were content with their simple life. They loved Jack dearly, but didn't understand his restless spirit. They often told him, "Jack, you should be grateful for what you have. Life here in the village may be simple, but it is peaceful and secure. Chasing after dreams can lead to disappointment." But Jack couldn't let go of his dreams. He often found himself standing on the highest hill in the village, looking towards the horizon, imagining what it would be like to venture beyond the familiar. Yet, every time he thought about leaving, doubt crept into his mind. He was just one person, uneducated and inexperienced. How could he ever hope to achieve anything great? How could he possibly succeed in a world so much bigger than the one he knew? As the years passed, Jack grew more and more frustrated. He worked alongside his father in the fields, but his heart wasn't in it. His mind wandered to distant lands, and the things he could be doing if only he had the courage to take that first step. One day, while he was working in the field, a traveling merchant came to the village. The merchant was an older man, with weathered skin and eyes that had clearly seen much of the world. Jack approached the merchant, eager to hear stories of far-off places. "Tell me," Jack asked, "what is it like beyond the mountains? Is it true that the cities are filled with opportunities, that people can rise above their circumstances and achieve great things?" The old merchant smiled kindly at Jack. "Yes, the world beyond the mountains is vast, and there are indeed opportunities for those who seek them. But the journey is not easy. Many people dream of success, but few are willing to take the first step. It's not the journey itself that holds them back. It's the fear of failure, the fear that they won't be able to achieve their goals. But let me tell you a secret, young man. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Jack was struck by the merchant's words. "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step," he repeated to himself. It was a simple idea, but it carried profound meaning. For so long, he had been paralyzed by the enormity of his dreams, convinced that the path to success was too difficult to even begin. But perhaps the old man was right. Perhaps the key to achieving his dreams wasn't to focus on the entire journey, but to take one small step at a time. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. The merchant's words echoed in his mind, and he realized that he had been holding himself back for far too long. If he truly wanted to achieve his dreams, he had to take action, no matter how small. The next morning, Jack made a decision. He would leave the village and set out on a journey to find his purpose, to seek the opportunities that he knew existed beyond the mountains. His parents were initially shocked by his decision. "Jack, the world out there is dangerous and uncertain. Why would you leave the safety of the village?" his mother asked, her eyes filled with worry. "I need to find my own path," Jack replied, his voice steady but gentle. "I can't spend my life wondering what might have been. I need to take that first step." His father, though reluctant, eventually nodded in understanding. "I see that your heart is set on this," he said. "Remember, Jack, the road will be difficult. There will be times when you want to turn back, when you feel like giving up. But if you stay true to your dreams, I believe you will find your way." With nothing but a small bag of provisions and his father's old walking stick, Jack set off on his journey. As he walked, the village grew smaller and smaller behind him, and for the first time, he felt the weight of the world ahead. But with each step, he reminded himself of the merchant's words, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." And so, he kept walking. The first challenge Jack encountered was the mountains. The steep, rocky terrain was far more difficult to navigate than he had imagined. There were times when his legs ached and his lungs burned from the exertion. He had to climb over jagged rocks and navigate narrow paths that left little room for error. There were moments when he doubted himself, when he thought about turning back to the safety of the village. But every time doubt crept in, he remembered the merchant's words and took another step forward. After several days of climbing, Jack reached the summit of the mountain range. From there, he could see the world beyond, a vast expanse of rolling hills, forests, and rivers stretching out as far as the eye could see. It was breathtaking, and for the first time, Jack felt a surge of confidence. The world was vast, yes, but it was also filled with possibility. As he descended the mountains and made his way into the lowlands, Jack encountered a bustling town. It was far larger than his village, filled with people of all kinds: merchants, craftsmen, scholars, and travelers. Jack was both excited and overwhelmed by the activity. He realized that in this town, no one knew who he was. He could start fresh, reinvent himself, and begin building the life he had always dreamed of. But starting over was not as easy as Jack had hoped. He quickly learned that the world beyond the village was not always kind to newcomers. He struggled to find work, and the few jobs he did managed to get paid very little. He often found himself sleeping in barns or under the open sky, wondering if he had made a mistake by leaving home. There were days when he barely had enough food to eat, and nights when the cold wind chilled him to the bone. Yet, despite the hardships, Jack refused to give up. Every morning, he reminded himself of the merchant's words and took another step forward. Over time, Jack began to find his footing. He met people who were willing to teach him new skills, carpenters who showed him how to work with wood, merchants who taught him the art of negotiation, and scholars who introduced him to the world of knowledge. Jack soaked it all in, eager to learn and grow. He realized that every skill he acquired, Every piece of knowledge he gained was another step towards his goal. Years passed, and Jack's hard work began to pay off. He saved enough money to open a small shop where he sold handmade goods. His business grew, and soon Jack became known for his craftsmanship and fairness in trade. People from all over the region came to buy his goods, and Jack's reputation spread far and wide. But more than the material success, Jack found something even more valuable: a sense of purpose. He realized that his journey had not just been about achieving success, but about discovering who he was and what he was capable of. One day, as Jack stood outside his shop, watching the sun set over the distant mountains, he thought back to the village he had left so many years ago. He remembered the boy who had stood on the hill, looking towards the horizon with uncertainty and fear. And he realized just how far he had come, not just in miles, but in personal growth. The journey of 1,000 miles, Jack realized, had not only taken him to new places, but had transformed him into the person he had always wanted to be. As word of Jack's success spread, people from neighboring towns came to seek his advice. They wanted to know how he had managed to achieve so much, how he had overcome the challenges that had once seemed insurmountable. Jack would smile and share the wisdom he had learned all those years ago. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Don't focus on the entire road ahead. Just take that first step, and then another, and another. Before you know it, you'll find yourself closer to your dreams than you ever thought possible. And so, Jack's story became a source of inspiration for others. People from all walks of life, whether they were young or old, rich or poor, began to take that first step towards their own dreams, knowing that no matter how difficult the journey might be, the key to success was simply to keep moving forward. Thank you all for listening to this story. I hope Jack's journey has inspired you to take that first step toward your own dreams, no matter how big or small they may seem. Remember, success is not about reaching the destination overnight, but about persevering through each challenge and continuing to move forward. Your journey may have its ups and downs, but with courage and determination, you'll find yourself closer to your dreams every day. Thank you again for your time, and I wish you all the best on your own incredible journeys. Keep believing in yourself, and never stop taking that next step.